Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Building a Harmonious Family with Neven and Bajalat. And today we are talking about children's achievements, about our expectations as parents that we have towards our children's achievements. And on this interesting topic, my guest today, Loubna Hamed, is a motivational speaker and a coach. And she's going to talk to us why very often our children fail in their results, even when we invest a lot, and also why and how is this connected sometimes with us as, let's say, high-performing parents and high-achieving parents, and what are the expectations there, what are the results there. So, Loubna, welcome to this show, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Navina, for having me. I'm very happy to be here as well and discuss this important topic.
Pleasure. It is my pleasure. And I never actually have someone discussing this topic. So I think it will benefit many parents who are listening. So tell us just a little bit about yourself first. I know you are the mother as well. And also what brought you to this topic, this very interesting discovery. I know you are a speaker and you cover a lot of interesting topics. So what was something specific that brought you to these discoveries?
Thank you so much, Navina. My name is Loubna Hamed, and I'm from Syria, but right now I'm living in Germany, and sometimes I go to Dubai as well. So you see, I get the best of several worlds already, which is really great. I am indeed a coach. I am a life coach, and also I am a certified happiness and positivity consultant, which is really great because to be associated with these two amazing things, happiness and positivity, I mean, this is really wonderful. And I am also a transformational NLP practitioner, which is different than the mainstream NLP, which is also awesome and amazing. And I look forward to help people achieve what they want to achieve through all these techniques and all this knowledge and experiences accumulated together. Actually, I would like to discuss today this issue because it's really very important to a lot of parents, especially the parents who are super achievers, because they have done a lot, they have invested a lot in themselves, and naturally, like any other parent, they want to help their kids also, and they want to put them on the right track, sort of to speak. But then they are being shocked because their kids are not doing very well in school. Academically, they are failing, and at home also they are having maybe problems with their siblings, with the kids of the neighbors, etc. So I really thought very well about this, and I may also be, if you allow me, be vulnerable. And I sort of had that in my family as well. I noticed that when the mother or the father are doing very well, but the kids are falling behind. And then I thought there must be a reason behind that. And I did indeed my research. And if you allow me,
Yes,
uh,
please.
yeah, to explain more. But first of all, I really need to stress the importance of the first 2 years of the life of the baby. Because by the end of the second or maximum the third year, the baby has now come to a decision about everything that matters in life. Like, for example, their worth, how much money they are worth, about their health status, about their social status. You see, all these amazing and vital things the baby has come to know in the first 2 to 3 years of their life. And we as parents, we do not realize that. Nobody taught us about these things. So that is why it's vital. It's vital to bring this kind of information to parents, because we take our kids for granted, and especially when they are newborns, we think we think they do not understand anything. All they need in life is to be fed and to be changed. But this is not the case really, because okay, they are tiny, they are just being born, but in fact their subconscious mind is already fully functioning. And the subconscious mind, it's like this amazing device that until this very day we are unable to comprehend its majestic abilities. Like, if you allow me to give you a little tip on the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind, for example, is able to process information within, like for example, 5 to 9 pieces of information per second. Like for example, if I ask you right now to give me a phone number, just give me a phone number, whatever.
So should I give you? Is that a question?
Yeah, please. Yeah, just, yeah,
okay.
please.
551738.
Okay, great. So you did you notice how you pronounce the numbers 551 738 in the clusters?
Yes.
Yeah, because no one is able to give you the full series of numbers in one go, because this is how the conscious mind is designed to. Whereas the subconscious mind is able to process, get this, 2 million pieces of information per second. So we are really underestimating it. And the infant with this subconscious mind already fully functioning, they are actually starting to work out their status in the family. Believe me, since they are in the womb, they are very affected. Like for example, the mom and the father, they are having a fight over something, and then the baby in the womb will calculate that, oh, I am causing the problems between my mom and dad, which means I am unwanted. So when they come to life, they already have this idea, and then the parents, from the dynamics of the relationship between each other, and from the interaction with the siblings, or the surrounding environment, the other people around, they get to validate these opinions. So the first 2 to 3 years are vital, and the baby is able to decide for themselves how much money they are worth, how healthy they are going to be, are they worthy of a good relationship or not, and things like that. So this is what we really needed to establish.
I would just like to add, yeah, if you allow me, I would like to add a couple of things for everyone listening, because I work deeply with clients and subconscious mind. It's something I studied for many, many years. And we like to explain, especially with children, subconscious mind is basically open. So a conscious mind can reject and accept information. So when we are adults, if somebody tells us, for example, you're stupid, you would think about it, and you can say, no, I'm not stupid, I'm very smart, right? Because you have your conscious already formed. When we are in the first couple of years, even 5, 6 years, not just 3, our subconscious is open, and everything we pour into our children, everything in our environment, like you said, what we say, they start creating their value. And this is one simple example is this is why children can learn any language in the world. If they're listening to 3 languages, they will understand and speak all 3 languages, because they don't have the consciousness to reject information. They are simply like sponges. And it's very important that parents become aware even of what's playing in the television, of the background, because if they're not watching but they're listening, if it's inappropriate for their age, and the conversation we're having over the table and the children are playing in the other corner, they're listening to everything, they're observing what we're doing. And it's really fascinating how it works. So I just wanted to add this, just to have one more piece of information, because it's really incredible and it's so powerful for all parents to understand the importance. Like you said, when we think they're young and helpless, no, it's the most important period in our lives.
Yes, absolutely. And unfortunately, you see the results of not paying attention to that in the kids' life later in life. I mean, when they become adults, and now they enter the real life, like for example, and that is when the programming start to work in the background and cause all the problems.
Yes.
So yes, thank you for adding more information about this. It's really amazing what you said about languages. Like for example, my nephew, he is just 3 years old, and he already, when he makes a sentence, he makes it using 3 languages: Arabic, English, and Deutsch. So he is basically borrowing a word from each language.
Yes.
So it's amazing to see how kids are processing all of this. So we look at the kid and, oh my God, he's genius. He can communicate in 3 languages. But there are more dimensions to that. They are not only picking the languages from what they see on TV or from the
Of
people
course.
around them. They are picking so much more. So now, if you allow me to talk now and try to unveil some of the potential causes of
Yes,
why
please.
my child is not doing as well as I would like them to do, even though I'm doing everything in my power. I have hired private tutors for them. I have allocated so much time for them. I have given them their private room. I treat them very, very well, but still they are not doing as much, or they are not doing as well as I would like them to do. So one of the main causes behind this is fear of failure. Fear of failure. An expert, his name is Andrew Lowa, has written an article about this, and he is saying that children are, in fact, just like adults, they are afraid of failure. But in fact, adults are kids who did not overcome failure when they were little. Because part of this is because our brains are not designed to update themselves. So maybe as a child, somebody has faced failure and caused him sort of a trauma or a shock or a very, very bad feeling. But they did not update the mind later on with later successes in life, which led them as an adult to be failures.
Yes, this is
However,
yes,
science,
very interesting, and you put it very well. Like we are programmed from childhood not to fail, not to make mistakes, and then we grow up as a people who are afraid of failures. So we really transfer this fear of failure towards their children. Parents are terrified. What if they don't succeed in school? What if they don't have academic degree? What if they don't get a job? What if they get, fail in relationships? What if they don't have family? So all of this is fear of them failing in life. And then we build a self-image that we failed as a parent because our children are not succeeding. So you really, really explained this very well.
thank you so much, Nuvina. And actually, you have raised a very important point. We are raising our kids not to fail, but I can give you proof that this is actually a social programming, because look at infants. Like 1-year-old, 11 months old, when they are just trying to pick themselves up, when they are just trying to take their first step, they are falling down, right? And they are being hurt sometimes. But will that keep them from trying again, from picking themselves up and trying again? No, because science proved that kids in the early childhood, they have no meaning of failure. They
Yes.
give failure no meaning.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually, this is something that I try to preach a lot. Allow them to fail. It's okay, because you know what? If they do not make mistakes as kids and teenagers, they will make the mistakes later in life when it's really not acceptable anymore, like in their 30s or in their 40s. So
Yeah.
do you realize the dimensions of that? Because they were not allowed to make mistakes as kids.
And we all
But
learn from mistakes, right? And like you said, when children wants to walk, they only see the objective, they only see the goal. So their goal is like, I'm gonna walk. So, but let's say us, if we start a business, we have all of these fears instead of thinking, I'm gonna have a successful business. And it doesn't matter how many times I fail and not succeed and how long it's gonna take. The child doesn't think how long it's gonna take them to start walking. They have an objective and they're going to that objective. And like you said, they don't even pay attention on falling so many times, which
they
is
don't care.
fascinating. Yes.
It's very normal for them to fall down and pick themselves up until they learn. You know what? You brought me a memory now. My brain is presenting me with a memory of my daughter when she took her first steps. She was like 1 year and 4 months or so, and she was just, you know, trying to take her first steps. So she was extremely happy. I wish I had my camera back then. So she would take a step and then and she would laugh and she of joy as if she has achieved the impossible. You know, this is really something. If you have any toddler around, you just observe how happy they are with the sense of achievement. Oh my God, I'm walking. I'm actually walking. So if we can really bring this joy to our businesses as well, when we do even the littlest thing, you know, in our judgment, maybe it's nothing, but on some other dimension, it's really huge. I mean, let us celebrate our successes. Why not?
Yes.
So this is really amazing. So the fear of failure, this is something we as parents can help the kids to overcome. Like, for example, we really need to make them understand, explain to them that failure is very natural, is a natural part of their evolvement in life. Like, for example, they want to learn how to ride the bicycle. By the time they want to ride the bicycle, maybe when they are 4 years old or so, it's really up to the parents. Oh, don't hurt your knees. Oh, you will wound your hands or so. So if you don't do that, don't do this. We are instilling fear in our kids, basically. But if as a parent you tell your kids, no, this is really not, it's okay. You can just pick yourself up and get back on that bike and do it. And then it will happen. It will happen. So it's okay. Also, we need to really talk to our kids and let them understand that in order to succeed, you need first to go through a series of trials and experimentations. They may not be successful, all of them, but you are learning from each try. You are learning. One failed experience equals one valuable lesson that will bring you even forward towards your goal or whatever you want. Also, fear of failure is actually something psychological. And there are some experts who believe that some kids are afraid of success itself, not from the process leading to success. They are afraid from the success itself because they think they are unable to keep it all the time. They are unable to stay at the top all the time, and that they might lose it. Which
Yes,
is
and
something
also our brain, when we become successful, if we kind of have to become a different person. So we are afraid, we are told that people will treat us differently. We are afraid we're going to lose people who are close to us because things and circumstances will change. So our brain is always trying to keep us where we are in our comfort zone because it's a safe place. So even other things are better for us, we don't get the breakthrough because our brain is constantly trying to keep us where we are. And the fear of success is very, very common. A lot of people think I'm afraid of failure, but they actually connect success with a lot of negative things, right? And money with negative things, success, publicity. And they tell this story right over and over again. So it's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's excellent observation, Nivena. Excellent observation indeed. I mean, with success, a lot of pressure and stress comes along with it. But that is also social programming. Who said that if you are a star once, that you need to be in the spotlight for eternity?
Yes.
It's
Or
fine. You
who said that successful is stressful or having money is bad or stressful? I think it's beautiful. So we have to find different examples to reprogram us. So Loubna, as we so you mentioned fear of failure, fear of success. Is there anything there? And I would like to jump into talking what parents can do to avoid this, right? To avoid and help their children have big success. So if we can talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Indeed, it's all up to the parents right now because the kid is still helpless, really. Like you said, it's like a sponge. So I have this sponge here in front of me. As a parent, what can I do? I can be really ignorant. And I think nowadays, this is not an excuse anymore because you have all sorts of information available to you. I mean, everyone has something like this. It's connected to the internet almost 24 hours, 7, yeah. And anywhere in the world, no matter how the circumstances are bad or good. Everyone now, kids from 3 years old, 2 years old, they have their own phones. So really, any concerned parent who is responsible, they are able to access content for free about how to raise healthy kids, really. And on the other hand, they can, at the very least, they can pay the kids compliments for the effort they are doing, not for the result.
Yes.
You see, this is really important to realize the difference between the two. If you compliment them for the result, for taking excellent grades, for example, then you are adding pressure to them, and then the effort will be meaningless to them. What's behind this will be meaningless to them. But if you compliment the effort they are making, whether or not they succeeded, whether or not they had excellent results, then you are teaching them lesson for life, because they will grow up. I mean, after all, they will not be in school for their entire life. And as a parent, do I really want to teach my kids to get A's all the time, or to get full grades all the time? Or I want to teach them, because they will not be in school, and who is going to give them grades after 18? Right? Or when they finish college, for example. What I want to teach my kid is the value of making an effort, really. So this is very important. Also, the kid really need encouragement from the parents all the time. I mean, they are tiny and the world is huge. So they really need the support and the encouragement from the parents in order to increase their self-confidence. Okay, sometimes the parents need to play the role of the mentor, especially when they notice that the kid has a fear of failure in something. And they really need to teach the kids some phrases so they can learn how to communicate with themselves. And this is something, unfortunately, parents tend to overlook, because as parents, we are not communicating with ourselves. So how I'm going to teach my kid to communicate with him or herself? So I think this is also very important. You need to tell your kid to teach your son or your daughter how to talk with themselves, to communicate with themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, especially, by the way, the experts say this is very important, especially in the age between 10 to 15 years old. And when they come to exams, for example, it's very important to show them how and give them examples. Like, for example, you can tell your 10-year-old, I am capable of taking this test and doing well. Or I'm doing as well as my colleagues as my classmates. I'm doing well as my classmates, for example. Or I am capable to compete with my classmates. You know, things like that. Or I am able to participate, and I am able to raise my hand and provide a valid answer to my teacher's questions, things like that. If you allow me now to move forward and talk about.
I will just add. Yes, I would just add here. It's type of these affirmations, but we are kind of raising. But like you said, if parents don't have the awareness about themselves, if we don't know how to encourage ourselves, we will not be able to encourage our children to really have these positive affirmations about themselves. But it is the self-talk that's always, in creating those limiting beliefs. It's what stops us. And I will just in a couple of seconds share a very interesting story that I always share. Sarah Blakely, she's a very, very famous entrepreneur in US and the world. She invented something called Spanx. So women mostly know what Spanx is a shapewear. And I love listening to her. And she said that her father, when they were children, every week, he would ask them, what did they fail at that week? And they would say, well, I didn't fail anything at school. I didn't fail anything in sports. So he said, I'm very disappointed. So they were very surprised, like, why are you disappointed? We didn't fail. And he told them, if you don't fail, it means you didn't try anything new. And she said since then, this is the reason why she's a self-made billionaire. She started her business 20 years ago with $5,000 and built this huge empire. She's 100% owner of her company, incredible lady with great sense of humor. And she said, if my father didn't build this in us when we were children, I believe this is what came behind my success, because in building the company, there was so many trials and errors, but I had this mindset that I'm constantly trying something new and I'm doing great. So she built this really huge, power within herself, huge and good self-image. And I love this story so much. So I just wanted to share, to encourage parents, ask your children what they fail at, like change this idea that we already talked, Loubna and me, like change this idea of really, punishing your children for mistakes or not having grades. No, change it and encourage them to continue failing and trying new things, because later in life, this is what makes people successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree with you. And actually, let's you and me now invite everyone who is listening or watching us to actually make a change as a parent.
Yes.
Even as a normal person, I mean, all of us, we really need to make some difference in our mindset in order to have finally the results that we want to have in life,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So, Loubna, we have to slowly wrap up in next couple of minutes. So I just want to ask you, what are the final thoughts, final things you have prepared for us? And also, please make sure to let everyone know how they can connect with you. We're going to put links in the description of this episode below, so you can connect with Loubna. But tell us in the meantime, what are some final advice, final tips you wanted to share with us, and how can people connect with you?
Yes, okay, thank you so much. Actually, unfortunately this was very, very short because I have prepared some other information. If you allow me to go through very, very quickly. I mean, some other reasons why the kids are not doing as well as we want them to be, even though we are supporting them and doing everything in our power as we think to support them. There are other reasons, like for example, there is fear of competing with the parents. I'm not as good as my parent. This is really valid fear, really. Also, there is the pressure of let's say gratitude. When the kid notice that my kids are doing everything in order to support me and I cannot do very well at schools. Some kids are not very well at math, so they feel guilty because they are not doing well in school, even though my parents is doing everything for me, but I really cannot do well in math or in languages or in computer, etc. They feel very, very guilty. On the other hand, the brain of each kid develops in a different way and in a different pattern than the other kids. Also, for example, there are like hidden diseases that would lead to learning difficulties like ADHD, ASD, for example. There is something that is called childhood anxiety disorder. This is very, very serious. Oh my God, I prepared a lot. Of course, look, there are also some physical disorders, like some kids, they are suffering, they cannot hear well, they cannot see well. But as a parent, you do not know that.
Yes.
You do not know that, and you think that your kid is just ignoring you when you call them. They're not ignoring you. They cannot really hear you. So do not be mad. Investigate, check. And the plague of this era, of this century, it's not, the pandemic is not COVID-19. It's actually the video games, the mobile games. This is the actual pandemic. In 2019, Roblox, everybody knows Roblox. According to a statistic from 2019, the children and teenagers who are on this game are 60 million kids all over the world. And that was 2 years ago. Imagine. Yes. I would say over 80 million by now. Yeah, and there is something that is called gaming disorder. This is very serious. I encourage everybody to go and check that out. So I do not really want to take time over the limit. Sorry about that. I would like to say thank you so much for having me in this podcast. And if you would like to know more about this, then you are more than welcome to my Facebook page and my Instagram, I talk a lot about these things, and I talk about happiness. And this is something very, very achievable, by the way. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you that you need to have perfect kids, perfect job, perfect body, or a lot of money in order for you to be happy. These are only social programming, unfortunately. But if you are listening to us, if you are watching us, and you receive this message, this means you are on the right track, and this is a message to you from the universe or from the God that you need to do something in order to put your hand on this happiness inside of you. So this is my message basically. I hope that everybody enjoyed our talk. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Yes, Loubna, I enjoyed so much. You added so much value, and I'm sure listeners enjoyed. So I want to invite everyone to share this episode. Please share it with others. Such an important topic. Share it, download, subscribe to our podcast, tag us in your stories that you listen. What was your biggest takeaway? Make sure to connect with Loubna. And once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Loubna, for being here. And I will see you in the next episode.
Yeah, it will be my pleasure. Thanks, Navina. Wish you a fantastic, wonderful day.